Story 4. I'm telling.
It stood alone in the middle of the woods, the most horrifying creature Adam had ever seen. He crept toward it, slowly, silently, through the bushes, closer and closer to the hideous thing nestled in the clearing. "I'm not afraid of you," Adam said under his breath. "I'm going to destroy you." He ducked down in the tall grass and studied his enemy. He was only a few feet away from it now. It was a gargoyle, and its huge, scaly wings rose over him. If the creature flew at him, he knew he could never outrun it. "I don't know if I'm brave or crazy," Adam thought. He crawled forward for a closer look. That's when he noticed the creature's claws. Long, sharp claws that could probably rip him in half. "I'm not afraid of you," he whispered again. "But I am afraid of those fangs," he thought, peering nervously at the gargoyle's long, pointy teeth. "All the better to eat you with," Adam remembered the line from an old fairy tale. Adam gazed up at the monster and took a deep breath. The creature sat silent and still. Good, it hasn't noticed me, he thought. Instead, it stared coldly at some twittering sparrows that had gathered at its feet. "It's now or never," Adam thought. He leapt to his feet and charged the monster. "Eat this!" he screamed, lifting his weapon and squeezing the trigger. Nothing happened. The monster remained still. Only the sparrows were surprised by his attack. They flew into the air with a soft flutter of wings. "I don't believe it," Adam cried. "I'm out of water." He stared down at his empty water gun. Then he glanced back at the monster, a statue made of stone. "You're lucky," Adam muttered. "If my gun was filled, you'd be dead now." The monster didn't flinch. It was only a statue after all, stuck in the middle of a dried-up old fountain. Adam liked to come out to the woods and pretend to hunt. His best friend Nick said that pretending was for babies. "When you're in the 6th grade, you've got to be cool," Nick told him. So Adam came out to the woods to play by himself when Nick wasn't around. "If only I had more water," Adam grumbled, shaking the stupid water pistol. To his surprise, the statue moved. Its mouth opened wide and something green gushed out. Adam jumped back. Green liquid spurted from the statue's mouth. Adam gaped at the gargoyle. "I don't believe it," he cried. "It's amazing." Adam stared at the statue as the stream grew more powerful. The thick green liquid splashed against the dry stones of the fountain. "This is really weird," Adam said out loud. "Where is the stuff coming from?" "I guess I can refill my gun now," he thought. He pulled the plastic cap off one of the gun barrels and leaned into the fountain. Then he stopped. He felt as if the gargoyle were watching him. He peered up at the monster. Its stone eyes remained frozen in a cold stare. "Get a grip, Adam," he told himself. "It's only a statue." "Nick would laugh his head off if he saw you now." Adam reached up towards the gargoyle's mouth and held the plastic gun under the stream of liquid. His hand trembled as the gun's tank slowly filled. "This stuff smells really gross." "And it's kind of gooey," he said, replacing the cap of the tank. He turned to face the gargoyle. "Okay," he yelled. "I've got you now." Adam squeezed the trigger. Nothing happened. He held the gun up to the light. He shook it some more. Maybe it's clogged, he thought. He turned and aimed at a large tree next to the fountain. He pumped the trigger again and again. The gun suddenly jerked in his hands and a green stream of liquid splashed the huge tree. "Yes!" Adam cheered. The tree began to crackle. Adam stared in shock as the brown branches faded to grey. The leaves crumbled and fell heavily off the crackling tree. A leaf dropped onto Adam's head. "Ow!" he cried, rubbing his scalp. The leaf was as hard as rock. Adam gaped at the tree. Was it true? Was it possible? Yes! It had turned to stone. Adam gazed down in amazement at the water gun in his hands. "What's going on?" he stuttered. I'm telling. Adam jumped at the sound of the high-pitched voice. A short, brown-haired girl with pigtails and freckles stepped out of the bushes. She pulled a red wagon behind her. Adam groaned. It was Missy, his 7-year-old sister, the second most horrible creature in the world. "What are you doing here, Missy?" "Looking for you," she snapped. "Mum says you have to finish your art project. I told her she should take away your water gun, or else you'll never finish it." "You little brat," Adam muttered. "Why don't you mind your own business?" "Why don't you do your schoolwork?" Missy shot back. "Do you want to stay in the 6th grade forever?" "Go home, Missy," Adam said, fighting back the urge to tackle her. "I always do my homework," Missy bragged. "I get straight A's." "Well, good for you," Adam growled. "Now leave me alone." "What about your art project?" Missy demanded. "The contest is tonight." Adam sighed. He gazed at the gargoyle in the fountain, then at the stone tree, the crumbled leaves. He glared at his little sister. "I'm busy," he said, clutching his water gun. "Art classes are for you losers like you. I have more important things to do." "I'm telling Mummy," Missy squealed. "You're in big trouble, Adam." She stuck out her tongue. Then she started to sing. I'm telling. Adam clamped his hands over his ears. "Shut up," he yelled. I'm telling, Missy sang louder. Adam felt his face grow hot. Before he knew what he was doing, he raised the squirt gun and pointed it at Missy. He didn't mean to squeeze the trigger, but he did. Green, slimy liquid squirted from the gun, splashing Missy's face. Missy shrieked. Then her small, round face turned chalky grey. Her lips froze in an open-mouthed scream. Adam stared in horror as the greyish-white colour spread down her small arms and legs. Then Missy's entire body stiffened and a powdery dust swirled around her. Adam's eyes bulged as he watched Missy turn to stone. "Missy, no!" he shrieked. "What have I done?" he howled. "Don't worry, Missy. I'm going to hide you in the basement until I can figure out what to do." With a grunt, Adam hoisted his stone sister off the ground. She weighed a ton. He nearly broke his back lifting her into the wagon. As he struggled to pull the wagon away, he heard gurgling and hissing. From the fountain? Yeah! Adam snapped his head around. Green slime dribbled down one of the gargoyle's fangs. Adam shivered. His heart began to pound. He grabbed the wagon handle, pulled as hard as he could. He didn't look back. He tugged the wagon until he reached the end of the woods. All he had to do was pass by the school and turn the corner. His house stood on the corner of the next block. He turned to Missy. "We're almost home," he said. "As if she can hear me," he mumbled. Rolling his eyes, he shook his head. "My sister, a stone statue. How can this be happening?" Missy bounced heavily in the wagon. Adam glanced back nervously. He didn't know what would happen if she broke, and he didn't want to find out. He had to move fast. He didn't want anyone to see Missy like this. "Adam! Adam!" Adam recognised the voice. It belonged to the last person in the world he wanted to see. Mrs. Parker, his art teacher. Mrs. Parker waved her arms in the air as she ran up the sidewalk after him. "Adam," she cried, "you finished your art project. I am so proud of you." The tall, red-haired teacher peered down at Missy's statue and clapped her hands together. Adam gulped. "Well, Mrs. Parker, it's wonderful, Adam," Mrs. Parker declared. "I had no idea you were such a talented sculptor. You've captured Missy in stone. It looks so much like her. It's a masterpiece." But Adam fumbled for words. "Hurry, Adam, take your sculpture into the school. The art contest has already begun, but maybe you'll win first prize." Adam sighed. He stared at his stone sister. He wondered if he could hear her. He wondered if she could think. "Sorry about this, Missy," he whispered. "Nothing I can do now." He pulled the wagon into the school. Adam won first prize. The judges placed a blue ribbon on Missy's stone shoulder. Mrs. Parker congratulated him. His friend Nick came up and slapped him on the back. "Cool project," he said. "Really cool. It looks just like your bratty little sister. Hey, want to come over and play video games?" I can't," Adam stammered. I have to get home and babysit Missy." "Oh, all right. See you," Nick said. He took one more look at Adam's statue. "Oh, really amazing. How did you do that?" Adam brought the wagon into the auditorium. He crouched down to lift Missy up and almost dropped her when he heard the voice, Missy's voice. "Help me, Adam," Adam gasped. "Did you say something, Adam?" Mrs. Parker asked. "No," Adam replied. He grabbed the wagon handle. tugged hard and raced out of the school. Adam started toward his house when he spotted his parents in the front yard, admiring their vegetable garden. "Oh no," he moaned. "We can't go back to the house," he told Missy. "Not yet." He didn't know where to go, so he hauled Missy back into the woods. "We'll hide near the fountain until you can sneak into the house later," he told her. The sky was darkening as evening approached. The wind howled through the trees. A shiver ran down Adam's spine. He pulled the wagon into the clearing and screamed, "No!" The gargoyle was gone. "Where is it?" Adam cried. "Where?" Adam didn't finish. A shadow slid over him. He glanced up in time to see the huge wings. The gargoyle was flying. No time to duck, no time to run. In a gust of sour air, the ugly creature swooped. Its heavy wings pounded Adam's head. "Get away from me," he shrieked, throwing his arms up. "Get away!" The giant creature swooped down again. Its eyes glowed a deadly red. Adam couldn't get away. The gargoyle dug its sharp claws into his shirt, shredding the sleeve. "No!" Adam uttered a terrified wail. The gargoyle soared up again and began to circle, prepared to dive down again, its eyes flaming angrily. Green ooze seeped from its gaping mouth. The liquid hit Adam's cheek with a sickening splat. His face sizzled. Adam wiped the ooze away. He felt dizzy, faint. The gargoyle soared down at him. Adam dodged the monster. As the gargoyle plunged toward him again, Adam spotted the water gun on the ground. Yes! He grabbed it, waited for the creature to swoop in closer, closer. When he could feel its sour, cold breath on his face, Adam pulled the trigger. A blast of the slimy liquid splashed all over the monster's glowing eyes. The creature opened its mouth in a horrendous howl, then it dropped to the ground with a heavy thud and became a stone statue once again. Green liquid trickled from its leering mouth and dripped down its fangs. "Yes!" Adam cried happily. "I did it! I did it!" "Help me, Adam!" Missy. Adam had forgotten all about her. What am I going to do? He asked himself in a panic. An idea flashed into his terrified thoughts. He reached for his water gun. It had some green liquid in the tank. Adam shrugged. It was worth a try. He aimed at the Missy statue. He held his breath and squeezed the trigger. Nothing happened at first. Then slowly, the grey stone crackled and crumbled. Layers of dust flaked from Missy's eyes, her face, her arms, her legs. "Adam, you jerk!" Her voice rang out angrily from the rubble. "How could you do that to me?" Adam grinned and hugged Missy. "You're alive," he cried. He happily brushed the dust off her clothes. "No thanks to you, stupid," she snapped. Adam ignored her angry words. He was so happy to see her. So happy. He threw his arms around her shoulders and led her through the woods. "I can't believe you put me in the art contest," she complained, shoving his arm away. "They put that stupid blue ribbon on me. I felt like a total jerk." Adam sighed. "Wait until I tell Mum. You'll be in big trouble. I'm telling her everything. I'm telling. Adam stopped walking. "Please, Missy," he started. I'm telling, she chanted nastily. Adam sighed again. "I don't think so," he said softly. Then he aimed the water pistol at her and pulled the trigger. I really, really hope that one wasn't too scary for you. I'd love for you to come back. I'd love for you to check out the rest of the stories as I read them from this book, Even More Tales to Give You Goosebumps. Hit like, hit subscribe. I'll see you back here again for some more.